Back when I actually was dorming in college, I was actually playing football for the school's team. It was down in Connecticut. And I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, so I moved back home for a semester and started doing community college. I say that to lead up to the point of how I got my first job. Because once I moved back home, I was like, all right, if I'm not going to be at school or playing football or anything, I might as well, I got to get a job so I'm not a fucking no-life, you know what I'm saying? And actually, to be honest with you guys, it was pretty easy for me to get my first job. Like, I applied to one place and I got it. And I actually still work at that same exact place 2 years later. I work at a fine dining steakhouse. But I want to tell you how I climbed my way up through the corporate ladder. Obviously, that's not real. I'm kind of just joking with that, but I'm going to explain how it went and what it's like to work in fine dining. It all started with my best friend. He's actually the one that put me onto this job. And he texted me one night. He knows I'm looking for a job. He's looking for a job himself. He texted me one night and he says, yo, a buddy of mine just told me about this place. It's a restaurant and we could be bussers there and we can pull $400 a night. And so one thing about my friend is he's all about, and I'm just gonna put it in his words, getting pussy. That's really all he concerns himself with. It's not all he concerns himself with, but it's like 60% of his mind is obligated to getting pussy, and that's like one of the things he's talking about 60% of the time, I'd say. So he texts me. He says, "Yo, we can pull $400 a night, and we can get mad pussy while we're at it." So me, 18 years old, I'm thinking, dude, $400 a night and pussy? Fucking sign me up, dude. So I apply there as a busser, and within 2 days, they're already getting back to me saying, "Oh, we want to schedule an interview with you." So I'm like, fucking, this shit's easy. Getting a job is easy. What is all the fuss about? So I dress all nice. I go to my interview. Even though it's an interview for a busser job, I put my jeans on. I put my button-up shirt on. I do my hair. I dress to the nines. And I basically do my interview. And of course, when you're doing a job interview, it's an obligation that you lie about 99% of the stuff you say. So I told them I'm a people person. That couldn't be further from the truth. I'm like the least people person in the history of the fucking planet. I told her I take my job seriously and I'm good at customer service. Never worked before, so I don't know if I could take a job seriously, and I've never done customer service. But I told them I busted another place because that's what you got to do. You got to learn how to hustle the game in cases like this. And when you need a job, you got to lie. Who cares about the corporation that you're screwing over if you're not qualified for the job, to be honest? They got enough money to do whatever the fuck they want, and they'll fire you on the dime anyway, so who cares? Lie to them. Lie at your job. Lie. So I do the interview, and then the next day, it turns out I actually got the job. They call me, tell me I got the job. And my friend actually got the job too. We both applied and got the job at the same time. Now, why did we get the job as bussers at this? I'll tell you, it's a Ruth's Chris. So how did we get the job as bussers at this Ruth's Chris Steakhouse? Because bussing at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in this particular area is the equivalent of probably what it felt like to be in Vietnam. It's like a fucking war zone. I remember, we're skipping ahead a little bit. I'll bring it back in a second, but my first shift, halfway through it, it felt like I played a full fucking contact football game. It was ridiculous. I had to go to the bathroom and fucking bend down. You know that picture of, I forget if it's Kobe or Jordan, the one that they're squatting down with the trophy, and people always meme it to be like, oh, after my job, or to be like me at my job, and it'll show the picture of them kneeling like they just accomplished the fucking finals MVP. That's people say that a lot, but this is really how it was. I started on Valentine's Day weekend, and I was getting training pay, so I wasn't even making tips. The way busser pay works, at least at this establishment, is you get a certain fixed amount an hour that's under minimum wage. So for example, $6 to $9 an hour, and plus you get 11% of all the servers' pooled tips. And in fine dining, tips motherfucking the servers be making money. So it adds up to a decent penny at the end of the week. Nowhere near $400 a night like my compadre told me, like my best friend told me at the beginning. He kind of was probably more focused on the pussy aspect instead of I'm saying the word pussy. I don't use that word. This is just his words that I'm using. I don't like that word. I'm a stand-up chivalrous gentleman. I don't like that word. I use words like words. I'm more respectful with my words. So let's just go to my first shift. And the first thing that someone tells me is this employee that works there, his name is Derek, and his quote, and I will never forget him saying this, and I have the picture of what he was doing. He was carrying a carafe of water for one of his many tables that he had that evening, and he said, "Welcome to the shit show." And boy, was he right. Was it a shit show? Valentine's Day weekend, we were pulling like 400 covers. So what a cover is the amount of people that are going to be there. So 400 people. So that's a big fucking night. And it was Valentine's weekend. So I'm making training pay. And basically the busser's whole job at this establishment, I don't know about other places. This is the only place I've ever worked at. The busser's job is you pre-bus tables in between courses. So when they're done with their apps, you take the plates off. When they're done with their entrees, take the plates off. And then when the table gets up, you bust that table off, you get all the plates off, and then reset it. By the way, I have no fucking idea where I am right now. I've never been in this area before. We're crossing railroad tracks right now. I guess I will go this way, I guess. Yeah, I'll go this way, why not? So the job is pretty simple, but when you're doing like an 8 or 9 or 10 hour shift of this, it gets really fucking physically demanding. So there would be times where we would open at 4. We open at 4 every day, and we don't close till 10:30. So when you're a busser and you're an opener, which is what the bussers usually everyone opened, you were there until the last table was reset. So a lot of times we'd be doing 10-hour shifts, and we wouldn't be getting out of that place till 12, 1, 2 in the morning. And I don't know how, as my first job, like I had never worked before, I don't know how I didn't fucking quit. Even my best friend, the one that told me to get the job, he no call, no showed for 3 weeks and ended up leaving. Eventually he came back, but I don't know how I endured all that, because on top of how shitty it was, the servers that I worked with were just such scoundrels, bro. They were the worst people to work with. Because we got 11% of their tips, their mindset was, I'm fucking paying your paycheck, so you do whatever I tell you to do. Like, they're my boss. Bro, you're just a server. We all work under the same boss. Here's some of the outrageous things that they would ask me to do. Number 1, box up their tables. Hey, buddy. This is what I wanted to say to them. Hey, buddy, that's your fucking job. Why don't you go do it? But I couldn't say that because I'd eventually get fucking fired for that. Managers didn't play like that. But what else? The bartenders had a fucking... Hey man, if you're a bartender, go fuck yourself. The bartenders had a superiority complex more than anyone, bro. I had to stuff blue cheese olives for this fucking bartender. I had to do roll-ups at the bar. This is all under her fucking job profile. I had to do bar roll-ups for her, which consist of a steak knife, a butter knife, and 2 forks rolled into a thing. To make 25 of those, that takes about fucking 20 minutes, and that's precious time when you're a busser. All right? What else did I have to do for this broad? I had to make simple syrup for her, which is basically just mixing water. Oh, look, a fucking turkey. Oh, there's multiple turkey, dude. Look at all those turkeys. You just mix hot water with sugar, and that makes the simple syrup. So that's pretty time consuming because how much sugar you actually have to scoop for that shit. And on top of that, like, we had our own shit that we had to do with him that was part of our job profile. Like, for example, we would have to clear the bus tubs. They'd have 4 full fucking bus tubs, and we'd have to clear those. We'd have to reset tables at the bar anyway. Like, we were working for them too. We got 6% of their tips, so fuck them. We're taking their fucking money. So I toughed it out as a busser for about, how long was it? Like 7 months I did it, and I was making decent money. Like, it was weekly checks, and I was pulling in like a good amount of money. That's how I got this car in the first place, this GR86 that is a fucking pain in my ass. But the job of busing isn't something that you want to settle for. At least me. Like, I can't just, that's not something I wanted to do for the long term. I wanted to work my way up. So there's also a position in the restaurant industry that's called food running. So I got tired of having that fucking itchy ass annoying head mount on, so I decided to stop recording and pick up the video once I parked the fucking car. It's really fucking distracting to have that thing on your head when you're trying to navigate traffic, and also it's digging into your scalp and into your fucking forehead. That's also an issue. So after being a bus boy for about 9 months or 7 or 8 months, I don't remember. It's all kind of a blur to me. This was a rough time for me, the dark days for me. I decided I wanted to food run. So I told my manager, and it took like 5 weeks to convince this fucking slimy fuck to move me up to food run. But eventually it happened. They had me busing and running for a while, which was a little bit of a struggle. I just wanted to completely remove myself from the busing position, understandably so. So the one thing that this is the second phase in my corporate ladder climb up. I've made it to phase 3, which will be the next phase, obviously, because we're on phase 2 right now. So the next one would be the third one. So I'm on phase 2, and the one thing I wanted, food running's kind of boring. Like, it's just you run the food to the table. That's the job title. That's really all you do. So it's pretty boring, but I will highlight one thing that food running did for me and what I loved about food. I didn't love anything about food running, to be honest. What made food running a little bit better for me, what elevated it for me, and what elevated my job? The people in the kitchen. Now, none of them speak English. They're all from the Dominican Republica. They call me Mateo. That's not my name, but that's what they call me. So we have two there's like 5 of them, but 2 of them are characters, and 2 of them are like my boys. So we have Jose, who works the broiler. Now Jose, he speaks a little bit of English. He's like 25% can speak English. It's kind of hard to communicate with him most times, but he's from Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic. I don't know when he came here. I know this is what I know about him personally. I know he's like 38. I know he gets a fresh haircut every week. That motherfucker always looks fly. I know that there's a 75% chance that there's a rumor going around that he sells the cocaina. And there's also a rumor going around that he's illegal, but I don't want to even delve into that because he's my boy. And this is all theoretical information, by the way. None of this is real, perhaps. Wink. But he works the broiler. So basically, he's doing 10-hour shifts in front of the 500-degree oven. So I don't know how he does that shit, but he plays the same playlist every day, and he plays it loud as hell. Like, you could hear it in the dining room. And he sings with the tongs in his hand, and he, like, sings. It's fucking hilarious. So Jose, that's my boy. And then we got Victor, who does the sides. He's from Puerto Plata. So he handles all the sides. So you got the potatoes au gratin, the sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, anything. He makes the mashed potatoes from scratch. Anything you need, he's your guy with sides. Now, because Victor's always using tongs to grab shit, his forearms are absolutely ginormous and, like, vascular as fuck. Like, and his hands are, like, meaty as fuck. He looks like he could beat your ass, bro. Like, he looks like someone you don't want to fuck with, but he's actually really chill. Victor doesn't speak a word of English and doesn't even attempt to speak English. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't even want to learn English. So communicating with him basically consists of me saying que lo que to him, calling him mama ñema, which I'm pretty sure means gay, saying mama huevo, which means something with my balls. What else do I say to him? We have a handshake that we do, which is pretty valid. If I find the video of us doing the handshake, I'll throw that in here right now. Got the shicey on. Yeah. And yeah, so meeting them was basically the best part about food running, because now, like, I've worked my way up to stage 3 in the corporate ladder, which is serving at this establishment. And because I'm boys with them, I mean, dude, we went out for my 21st birthday. We went to a local sports bar near work after the shift, and I went with them, and I had no idea. We couldn't even communicate, but we had a fucking good time, dude. They love Coronas and they love Jack Daniels. That's one thing about them. So whenever I have an issue with a food ticket or anything like that, anything with the kitchen, they got me 100%. So that's the one benefit of working your way up. You meet people along the way, and then you make connections, you know? It's just like anything else. And now I serve, and there's a bunch of schmucks that I deal with on the daily. I mean, I'm not going to really get into serving right now, but just know, like, you go in, you serve these people, you deal with freaks all day, especially at the location I'm at, right next to the train station. There's some freakish motherfuckers that go to this place. If anyone made it this far and wants to hear tales from serving, and also I have a bunch of coworker stories, dude, I work with some freaky motherfuckers, bro. And people go in and out of there like fucking, like a Western saloon. Like, there's just people in and out of there every day, new people, new faces every day, because motherfuckers can't hang in the restaurant industry, especially at this place. We're just running through staff like that. So yeah.